Aloha! Welcome back to the Bishop Museum for Science Never Sleeps on this beautiful Friday. I'm here today with Dr. Evenhuis. He's our senior entomologist here at the Bishop Museum, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more about the tools of the trade of entomology. So what are we going to be looking at?
Well, I decided that we're going to look at some methods that we trap insects. Now, when I say I'm going to go insect collecting, what do you normally think I'm going to be using?
I imagine the nice butterfly nets from my childhood.
Like this, perhaps?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and that's what everybody thinks, that this is all we use when we go out and collect insects. But it's not. We use a variety of trapping methods, and one of them that I'm going to talk about today is something that even you can do at home, and kids especially. Work with your science teachers, and maybe you can find out stuff that's in your backyard. It's really simple. We got, you can get these colored bowls at grocery stores. And yellow and white are preferred colors.
Why do the colors matter?
Well, insects are attracted to the colors. We think that it's because the yellow may be, if they're pollinating insects, they're like yellow flowers, and so they like to go to that. But that theory has sort of been screwed up because I've done color theories with experiments with a number of different traps, and found out that they go to every single color except for red.
Interesting.
Yep. And they even go to black. I don't know why, but all you need is these little cereal bowls, colored cereal bowls, some water, and some dishwashing liquid, some liquid soap. And if you use this, don't get citrus scented, because that's going to repel insects. The chemical that's used for citronella, which is an insect repellent, is in the citrus smelling dishwashing liquid, so don't use that. Just get the normal smelling dishwashing liquid. So what we do is, insects are like Hadley said, why do we use the different colors? Because they're attracted to different colors. In fact, I'll tell you one story. I tried one with, I told a person in Namibia to try one with blue and see what that gets. And because there's an old ancient plant, one of the oldest flowering plants in the world, is called Welwitschia plant, and they have blue pollen. And so I thought, if it's a pollinating insect, maybe they're going to be attracted to blue. And sure enough, we got these weird little tiny flies that were attracted only to the blue pans and not to the white or the yellow.
Oh wow, fascinating.
And I should say that I'm a specialist on flies, and don't think that it's like the common scungy picnic flies. I hate those. The flies that I work on here in Hawaii are found in rainforests, and they're predaceous, and they're good for the environment. They get rid of all the bad guys.
And they're quite beautiful, actually. I've seen a lot of your pictures, and
yeah, we might get into that on another subject. Some of them have really beautiful wings. So let me go through a demonstration of just how easy it is to do this. You have to take these wherever you're going to go. You can put them in your backyard. Just put a little water in each one. I'm just going to do one. And then all you need for the soap is just a drop. Because the soap, actually, and to swish it around, the soap acts as what's called a surfactant. It reduces the water tension. If you don't put the soap in there, insects will fall into it, but they'll all float on the top. But if you put the soap in there, they'll fall in and they'll sink right to the bottom. And if you're putting these traps out in a very rainy area, that's especially important, because the rain is going to fill up the bowl, everything's going to overflow, and all your insects are going to go out too. So this way your insects stay on the bottom. So that's how simple it was. Now we've got a water pan trap. Now we have some set up already, so let's go take a look at those, and I'll show you how you get the insects from the traps into a bottle. So that's where we're going to go now.
those of you watching at
We
home,
don't have far to go.
we are in our native garden here at Bishop Museum. We're going to see what kind of insects we gather here. Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
So here we have a pan that I set out in some vegetation here at the native garden, and you can see some of the things that have come in. This has been out for a few days, and these are the insects that come into those traps. A lot of wasps, a lot of flies, maybe some tiny beetles, springtails. We get all sorts of weird things that fall into them, and even some moths and things will fall into those. But Now, how do we get from there into here and get everything in there?
I imagine you use some really high-tech equipment.
Very high tech. And I'll show you. You hold on to this.
Sure.
And I'll
This is high-tech. This is actually a GPS.
That is high tech. But this is the low tech part. This is a tea strainer. Very fine mesh tea strainer that you can get at Aida and some other places that have tea strainers. It's hard to find tea strainers in Hawaii. But in fact, I had to get this from China. And these are very useful because some of the things that are going to be in there, they're parasitic hymenoptera little wasps that are so tiny, they're going to fall through most of the mesh. But with this tiny mesh, we're going to get even the things that are as tiny as a millimeter, like 1/16 of an inch.
Oh, wow.
So this is just getting it in here. All right. And now here comes the other low-tech. We'll put this out here, easier to see. We have a label. We have to label these things so we know where we've got them from. And here we are. It says Bishop Museum, Native Garden, collected on the 24th of June, 2016. So we'll put that here. And then here comes the nice little trick with the plastic tea strainer. Everything goes on there, and then you just fold it right up. And you can put it in your collecting bottle. And the collecting bottle has alcohol in it, which we use as a preservative. And then you can take it back to the lab, and you can then sort out those things. The other thing is always good to label what the percentage of alcohol is in there and say on your bottles what's in there so that you don't get confused with water and alcohol. You always like to know what's in the bottle. The label's in the bottle so we know where we collected it, and we'll bring those back to the lab, and then we'll sort them out under a microscope and see what we got. I guess that's something we can do for next time.
Absolutely. So what would be the benefits of keeping the label inside the bottle?
So that's associated with the insects, so when you open it up and you open up the piece of paper with the label information, you know that all those insects came from this particular locality here. Now I was going to use the GPS, and I didn't do it for this one, but when we're out in the field, and we know where we are here, but if we're on a trail someplace in the Kotwalaus or the Waianaes, we want to know exactly where we got that, because every place is different. Every tree, every piece of vegetation that we collect something is going to be different. So we'll get a GPS reading, the latitude and longitude, and put those on our labels as well. That way we'll be able to go back to the exact same spot again and see if we can collect it again.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I've gotten, I don't know about anybody in the audience, but I've got a great idea for any kind of science fair projects that anybody needs to do.
Yeah.
With traps like this and the different colors as well.
Oh yeah. It'd be fine. I've done the color experiment on the Big Island, but I haven't done it here on Oahu, so insects may be different here in Oahu and how they behave. So it'd be interesting to see if somebody does a color experiment, what kinds of insects go to different colors.
Now, do you have any great resources online that might help people identify the insects they find? There is one place for a lot of native insects and pests and plants. It's called HEAR.org, here.org. It has a lot of pictures, and they're mainly by scientific name. The other place is the UH Extension website that has a lot of information on plant pests and agricultural pests. Well, thank you so much, Neil. I've learned a lot today, and I look forward to more Science Never Sleeps with you and seeing some more different insect traps.
Oh yeah, there's lots. I think we can talk about different types of trapping. This is one. It was a real easy one, and there's a couple of others that we'll do in some next episodes.
Okay, I'm excited.
All right.
Great. Thanks for joining us for Science Never Sleeps. We'll see you next Friday.